Hello guys and welcome back to another video from our series Botvinnik versus Tal World Chess Championship of 1961. So game 1 ended up winning by Botvinnik and game 2 ended up winning by the Tal. So the score is equal now and this is game 3 and I hope you like my new setup and so without further ado let's get started. So Botvinnik opens with c4, the English opening, knight f6, knight c3, e6, d4 and bishop b4. So changing into nimzo Indian defense, a3, e3, sorry, e3 and now Tal castles. Bishop d3 developing the bishop and d5 attacking the center. So a3 forcing Tal to capture the knight or take back the bishop. But to which Tal replies d cross c4 and simply bishop cross c4. So now bishop back to c4. Maybe Tal not interested in exchanging the bishop so early on. Knight d6, sorry, knight f3 and knight f6, sorry, knight c6, sorry about that. b4 and e5 attacking the center and trying to open up the position, also with the idea in case if takes, maybe bishop, sacrificing bishop with the knight and also exchanging the queen, as maybe Tal is with the black pieces so he would be interested in the draw. So e5 and bishop b2. Botvinnik not goes for d cross e5 and bishop g4, pinning the knight, and d5, keeping the position closed. So knight back to e7 and h3 attacking the bishop, so bishop back to d7. Knight g5, knight g5 and knight g6 by Tal. Knight e6 and for a moment you think what has happened, is Botvinnik blundered the piece, but no, we will see just. And if you want you can pause the video and try to find out. So let me just show it. So if f cross e5, pawn cross e6 and now kind of you can't move this bishop back. If bishop back, then this pawn comes with a crazy discovery, so you can't take with the bishop, and if you move the king then you simply loses the queen. uh, so f cross e6 and d cross e6, and you first have to move the king, and this way you will win back your piece. E cross d7. So Tal is Botvinnik is playing the Tal in Tal style, and after e cross d7, queen cross d7, and now Botvinnik castles, queen f5 and knight d5, exchanging one pair of knight, but Tal declines. Tal goes knight g8 and queen g4. Now Botvinnik asks for Botvinnik trying to exchange the queen, but Tal declines, queen c2, and Botvinnik goes for queen exchange once again, queen e2, and Tal goes queen back to f5 and queen g4, and players repeat the move for 2 times, and I think Tal was happy win the draw, but Botvinnik plays e4 and declines the draw. So Tal brings back the queen to queen d7 and rook a to d1, bringing rook to the open file. Sorry, rook a to d8 and queen g4, again trying to exchange the queen, but queen e8, g3 and knight h6, attacking the queen, and queen h5, knight back to g8, uh, and queen back to e2, knight e7 and knight back to e3. So now Botvinnik not going for the exchange of the knight, and knight h6 and knight g4, maybe exchanging the knight on the king side. So knight cross e4 and h cross e4, accepting double pawn, but this double pawn will also prevent knight from jumping or any other jumps also. So knight c6 and king g2, bishop e7 and bishop d5, and knight d4 attacking the queen, and bishop cross d4 and pawn e cross d4, as the knight over on the d5 was very strong, so kind of giving up the knight for the bishop. And now Botvinnik plays bishop c4. I I think you could also take over here, or maybe you don't. Uh, yes, you can't take over here because of c6. Yeah, attacking the bishop, and if bishop moves, then you lose you lose the rook, or otherwise you lose the bishop. Yeah, so this is not a free pawn. uh, Wonderful tactic. So bishop c4 and c5. So b5, Botvinnik doesn't open the queen side also. b5 and bishop f6, f4 and d3, rook cross d3 and rook cross d3 and bishop cross d3. So exchanging one pair of rooks, and now bishop d4, slicing all the important square from the king, and as the pawn is protecting the bishop, this would be very annoying for Botvinnik to deal, and to which Botvinnik replies e5, g6 and rook h1, king g7, bringing king to the center, but queen e4 now, and b6, bishop c4, and in this position Tal resigned the game. Why did he resign? Just because yes, Tal resigned the game and Botvinnik won, because of uh, you kind of have to play queen e8 and go for exchange of the queen, if not something else. then maybe this queen e8 check is deadly, and you kind of start losing all the pawns over the queen side. So you need to protect it, and after queen cross a8, rook cross a8, you play g5, blocking all the squares from the king. This is also blocked, so only two squares are available. This is blocked by the bishop. Uh, Rook e8 and king f3. So this is actually a better position for white, and black is kind of a cramp over here. So maybe that's why Tal resigned the game. So game number 3, Botvinnik did get his 1 point advantage once again, and as always, thanks for watching, and hope you guys like the video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe. Hello guys. So in this position, uh, that Tal resigned the game, but after I was analyzing it, I found very interesting lines. I found very interesting lines. Why did Tal resign? So if we go by the engine line, then here engine kind of suggests queen a8 and trying to exchange the queen. Uh, so so even after exchanging the queen, the pawn storm the pawn 4 pawn advantage over here against the two pawns on the king side for black. Uh, this is the reason why Tal resigned. You will just see. So g5, after playing g5, it do blocks all the square from the king to enter the game. So rook e8, what else do you play? There is no such good move. And now bringing king to the center of the game, king f3. Now rook e8, because there are no good moves for black. If h6, then also you can simply take, and king can't take because rook is protecting it. You can't play a6 also, then also you will lose it. You can't move the bishop anywhere. You can move to these two places. If you just move the bishop and try to attack the pawn, then first of all just g4, and you kind of even don't care for the pawn because you have this. Uh, First you kind of also you can also attack the bishop, and this bishop is pinned, so now there is no way to protect this pawn also. So rook e8, the best engine move. g4, king f8, because now also once again you can't play anything else. If you here if you kind of play rook f7, then you just simply loses the rook, so rook f7 is not a good option. uh, as we saw, there is no point of playing bishop b2. First of all, you kind of and the best engine move is this only king f8, and to which first you improve the position of the rook. Rook g7. For a human to find this move, it would be pretty very difficult. Rook g7, rook g2, king e8, because there are no good move for black. So just improving position of the king e8, and now you break the center after. So now you can't really take over here, because just f6 you attack the rook, and you kind of have to give away the bishop. If you move the rook, let's say rook e7, not e7, but let's suppose here, then rook e2 trying to, yes, you pin the bishop, and there is no way you can protect it. You can't play rook e2, the pawn will capture it. So the best move is g cross f5, and to which you just play g cross f5, and now also you can't take over this pawn also, because this pawn is protected. That's why we bring the rook over here first, and if you take the pawn over here, then king e2 pinning the bishop, and rook e6, then again we try to attack the rook, and you kind of have to give away the bishop, and this is a winning position for white, because he has one bishop against two pawn. So best move is rook g6, now e6, and bishop e5. If bishop cross e5, g cross e5, and rook f6 check, then you first get out of the check, and it's this is also a winning position, because you have a bishop a piece more for two pawns, and this is an isolated pawn, so you are easily will be able to win this pawn. So here engine just plays bishop e5, and to which rook d2, and now this check. Now you kind of have to give away the rook, because if now you kind of capture with the bishop, then first of all you capture the bishop, and if you play something else, then just this is then just rook d8 is checkmate. Yeah, this is also pretty interesting line. So you kind of have to give away the rook and g cross, and you are just up a rook. So if you see, it's a pretty amazing now line. There is no moves for white. The king can't move, otherwise you will lose the bishop. So a6, now b cross a6, king e6, king f5, bishop g7 and a7. So now if bishop takes, then you can queen, but first b5, and now queen. Doesn't matter, you are simply, and this would be check on it. So very interesting position and very interesting line, so I felt like that I will extend this video. But after this bishop bishop c4, Tal resigned the game and Botvinnik won it. So once again, thanks for watching and hope you guys liked the video.